The 2023 season starts in a couple weeks, so let's find every team's best offseason move. If you just want to skip to one specific team, this is in alphabetical order by city. Arizona Diamondbacks, Andrew Chafin. Year in, year out, he's one of the most underrated arms out of the bullpen. And the Diamondbacks bullpen was one of the worst in the league last year, number 25 in baseball with a 4.58 ERA. They have a good starting staff. They have an average offense that's full of young players and only getting better. They needed bullpen help and they got it. This was a one-year deal, signed on February 11th. Atlanta Braves, Sean Murphy. This guy was the star of the Oakland A's in 2022, and even though the Braves don't have many holes in their team, they traded their young catcher William Contreras, but they got an upgrade back with Sean Murphy. They still have Travis d'Arnaud, so between catching and DHing, the Braves are covered with both these guys. Baltimore Orioles, Cole Irvin. He was acquired from Oakland on January 26, and he gives the starting staff some depth. They were number 20 in baseball last year with a 4.35 ERA, and Irvin was one of Oakland's bright spots. 181 innings and a 3.98 ERA. He's 29 years old. He seems to be improving year over year, so he might be a key piece for a team that wants to make the playoffs. Boston Red Sox, Kenley Jansen. This team had a top 10 offense in baseball last year, but they did lose Xander Bogaerts. They got Masataka Yoshida to help fill the gap in the lineup. They also got Justin Turner, they got Adam Duvall, so the offense may be okay. The bullpen was terrible, 5th worst in baseball with a 4.59 ERA, and they traded their closer Matt Barnes to the Marlins. Kenley Jansen will try and bring stability to that pen. He's getting old, but he's still good, and the Red Sox signed him to a 2-year deal. Chicago Cubs, Dansby Swanson. The Cubs have been busy, and this is a team that finished strong to end the 2022 season. They've added help all over the field, but their big prize was shortstop Dansby Swanson. The former number 1 overall pick is a workhorse. He's missed 2 games over the last 3 years. He's been getting better offensively. He's great on defense. At age 29, he seems like a great player to build a young core around, and they have him for 7 years. Chicago White Sox, Andrew Benintendi. This team was about average on every front last year, and it's going to be very hard to replace Jose Abreu. Benintendi is only 28. He's been an above-average hitter almost his whole career, and he's going to be on the south side for the next 5 years. He's no Jose Abreu, but he's a good bat. Cincinnati Reds, Will Myers. This team lost 100 games last year. They're in the bottom 3 in baseball in pitching. They're bottom 10 in offense. So what they really needed was better pitching, but I wasn't impressed with any of their moves. I kinda have to go with Will Myers. Their offense needs help too, so maybe this 1-year deal will work out. But more likely, they'll trade him at the deadline for more prospects. Cleveland Guardians, Josh Bell. This team is top 10 in starting pitching, top 5 in the bullpen, and right in the middle in offense. This team prides itself in contact and speed, but they could use more firepower. They were second to last in the American League in home runs last year, and Josh Bell brings a dangerous bat to the middle of that lineup. Colorado Rockies, Brad Hand. No team in baseball had a worse bullpen, sporting a 4.85 ERA, and Brad Hand had a nice revival last year. He pitched for 3 teams in 2021, and he was a strong arm in the Phillies bullpen in 2022. 55 games and a 2.80 ERA. Maybe he can help stabilize the Rockies bullpen. Detroit Tigers, Nick Maton. This offense was so bad last year, dead last in the majors, so you would hope they'd be looking for a bat. Their bullpen was top 10 in the league, but Andrew Chafin opted out of his contract. They traded Joe Jimenez, also their closer Gregory Soto, but in return for him, they got Nick Maton. In a very limited sample size, he's been a good offensive player. It may not be great, but it's the best the Tigers can show. Houston Astros, Jose Abreu. As if the rich needed to get richer, the Astros were top 2 in the majors in pitching, but only 8th in offense. They went and upgraded their first baseman, saying goodbye to Yuli Gurriel, and signing the former AL MVP to a 3-year contract. Abreu is a great offensive player and makes that great lineup even longer. Kansas City Royals, Zach Greinke. This is a bad team. Bottom 5 in pitching, bottom 10 in offense, and they made a bunch of mediocre moves. The best one, I guess, is bringing back Zach Greinke on another 1-year deal. Even though he's 39, he's still effective. Last year, he had 137 innings and a 3.68 ERA, 1.11 ERA+. He's a weird guy, but he's probably going to the Hall of Fame, so maybe he can help the rest of the staff get better. Los Angeles Angels, Hunter Renfroe. This team always gets knocked for their pitching, but their starting staff was number 6 in baseball. Bullpen was middle of the pack, but their offense was 6th worst. They traded for Hunter Renfroe, who should be a solid bat in the middle of the lineup. They got some other good bats also, like Brandon Drury and Gio Urshela, so this should be an interesting year in Anaheim. Los Angeles Dodgers, JD Martinez. For a team that was top 2 across the board last year, They lost a lot in the offseason. They lost key bats, they lost key arms. They were able to get Clayton Kershaw back. They brought in Syndergaard, but I'm giving this one to JD Martinez. He's been an all-star the last 4 years, and he should help the middle of that lineup. Miami Marlins, Luis Arraez. Their pitching is pretty good, and their hitting is third worst in baseball. That's why they were willing to trade Pablo Lopez to Minnesota, bringing back the AL batting champ Luis Arraez. This guy is going to be huge at the top of their lineup, and hopefully generate some more runs. Milwaukee Brewers, William Contreras. This team is pretty mediocre. Pitching is right around the middle. Their offense is number 10 in baseball, but I think Contreras was their best addition. This was a trade with the Braves. He was an all-star last year. This is the type of player you're going to want to hang on to. Minnesota Twins, Carlos Correa. It took a long way to get there, but they got there. After that fiasco with the Giants, and then the Mets, the Twins were able to sign him to just a 6-year deal, so they won't have to eat so many years in his late 30s. Correa is still an elite player in his prime, and the Twins lucked out on this one. New York Mets, Justin Verlander. The Mets made a lot of moves in the offseason. Most of them were very good. They brought back Edwin Diaz, Brandon Nimmo, and Adam Ottavino. They also got Jose Quintana, David Robertson, Kodai Senga, Omar Narvaez, and Tommy Pham. But after losing Jacob deGrom, they needed someone at his level to replace him. And even though Verlander is getting old, he's still elite. So maybe the Mets can get 2 more good years out of him. New York Yankees, Aaron Judge. This team was top 4 in the league last year all around. And yes, that includes offense. Looking at that Yankee offense that was number 1 in the AL and second only to the Dodgers, it didn't seem that impressive. That is, outside of number 99, Aaron Judge. The Yankees paid a lot to get him back, but they need him. Carlos Rodon was an awesome signing also, but Judge takes this one. Oakland A's, Aledmys Diaz. This team is bottom 10 in pitching, second worst in offense, so they need some new bats. The best one I found was Aledmys Diaz. He's been an above average bat in his career. He can play all over the infield. It's not a great pickup, but it's something. Philadelphia Phillies, Trey Turner. I know this team has a bottom 10 bullpen and a top 10 offense, so I should be excited for them trading for Gregory Soto, or signing Matt Strahm, or Craig Kimbrell. But Trey Turner is a game changer. He's going to be their rocket shortstop. Play every day, hit for average, power, elite speed. This one is obvious. Pittsburgh Pirates, Andrew McCutchen. Another team with a bottom 10 pitching staff and also a bottom 4 offense. As a small market team, they didn't sign anyone amazing, but they did bring back their old friend, former Pirates MVP, Andrew McCutchen. At age 36, he's not quite done yet. The fans will love having him back, and it's going to be a rough one in Pittsburgh, so let them have this. San Diego Padres, Xander Bogaerts. For as good as the Padres were last year, they were right in the middle in pitching and hitting. They didn't make a lot of splashy moves, but the one they did make was enormous. Xander Bogaerts is one of baseball's best hitters. He's your everyday shortstop. He's going to complement Machado, Soto, and Tatis nicely, and this lineup is going to be crazy. Seattle Mariners, Teoscar Hernandez. Last year, their pitching was a lot better than their offense, so they went out and got one of the league's best power bats from the Blue Jays. We will see how that power translates, but this adds depth and danger to the lineup. San Francisco Giants, Jock Peterson. I really don't love any of their moves. They had a top 10 starting staff, but they lost Carlos Rodon. Their bullpen was number 20 in baseball, so that needs to be addressed, and they brought in a couple pieces. The team with the 11th best offense focused on getting more bats this offseason. Mitch Haniger, Michael Conforto, and bringing back Jock Peterson. He's had an up and down career, but he was so good with the Giants last year. It seems like maybe he found a home. St. Louis Cardinals, Wilson Contreras. This one is pretty simple. This team was average on pitching and had a top 5 offense. No surprise there. Goldschmidt and Arenado had amazing years. Pujols found the fountain of youth, but he's gone now. Same with their Hall of Fame catcher, Yadier Molina. After 19 seasons, they were able to sign a former rival to take his spot, giving Wilson Contreras a 5-year deal. He's been one of the best catchers in the league for years now. Tampa Bay Rays, Zach Eflin. This team prides itself on pitching, top 10 overall, but they have a bottom 10 offense. I don't like any of their moves to get more bats, so I gotta fall back on Zach Eflin. He was a solid arm for the Phillies, part starter, part closer. He seems like the type of guy that can go to the Rays and get Cy Young votes. Texas Rangers, Jacob deGrom. This is one team that attacked their weakness over the offseason. They were up at number 12 in bullpen and offense, but 6th worst in starting pitching. They re-signed Martin Perez, got Andrew Heaney, Nathan Eovaldi, Jake Odorizzi, and the big fish, Jacob deGrom. He has major injury issues, but when he's healthy and on the mound, he's the best there is. He's going to be 35 years old and signed a 5-year deal, so we'll see how long this works out for the Rangers. This could be an amazing deal. It could also be a disaster. Toronto Blue Jays, Chris Bassett. This was the 4th best offense in the league, and you can see why. They're loaded. They had some shifting around, losing Teoscar Hernandez and Lourdes Gurriel, but bringing in Dalton Varsho and Kevin Kiermaier. Their bullpen was average, and their starting pitching was in the bottom half of the majors. They also lost Ross Stripling, who was very good last year. Chris Bassett is a rock-solid pitcher and has been for a few years now. He should help Manoah and Gausman hold down that rotation. Washington Nationals, Willie Peralta. They had a mid-tier bullpen, bottom 5 offense, and by far the worst starting staff in baseball. I don't think any of their moves were great, but I'll pick Willie Peralta as their best. He had 2 good years in Detroit. He can start or come out of the bullpen. He should help a bad team suck a little less. That's all for this video. Let me know what you think of my picks, and if you would have changed anything here. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, and if you're new here and want to see more content like this, please give me a sub. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.